On today's show, it's official. James Harden has been traded from the LA Clippers for Darius Garland and a second round pick. I cannot even believe it. We're going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team, every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper for 6, and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the #1 sports podcast network. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube to help us get up to 9,000 subscribers before the end of the season. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get 200 in bonus bets if you win. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. Clipper Nation, I cannot believe it. If you would have told me a week ago that James Harden would be no longer a member of the LA Clippers by today, I would have said you are insane. I'm going to be talking about the shock of this trade, what I make of it, what it does for us short term this season, and what it does for us long term, and my personal feelings about the trade. But wow. James Harden really got traded for Darius Garland within a snap of a finger. Now, the reports have all said that James Harden and the Clippers have been talking about this for a couple of weeks. So I guess talks finally came to a standstill these last couple of days, and James Harden hasn't played for us as they were looking to negotiate a deal in a place that James Harden would want to go. Now, Darius Garland, so for those that don't know, the reason why this is happening is because James Harden, as I mentioned in the last episode, James Harden wants a verbal guarantee that he's going to get extended when he's extension eligible, right? He's not extension eligible yet. He's got a player option next year that he could opt into for $41 million, but why would he want to do that when he could potentially negotiate at least a 2-year contract of guaranteed money? Because when you're James Harden and you're 36 years old and you're playing at an amazing level, averaging 25 points a game this year, which is his most since 2019-20, you want to guarantee that you're going to be set for at least more than one more year, because James Harden doesn't plan on retiring in 2027. He's just still way too good for that. So he wants a guarantee verbally that he's going to be extended. The Clippers are trying to go a different direction in 2027, trying to clear the books. So that's where the standstill was, kind of similar to Paul George. So James Harden was like, all right, then, well, if I'm not going to be extended, better let's move on from me now, and you guys can get something back. And so James Harden himself had a quote from Ramona Shelburne, who apparently spoke with him on Tuesday night. And this is what James said. In life, not even basketball, when things don't work out, there are ways to end things in relationships without having to crack each other. Okay, maybe we just don't see a future with each other. Maybe we just outgrew each other. Whatever the case may be, I feel like other situations weren't like that, and that's why I can respect Steve and Elle and Ty Lue, because they didn't put me in a weird position as much as everybody tried to make it like that. So that tells you that James Harden and the Clippers have left on good terms. They came to a mutual understanding that, you know what, we want to go a different direction. James Harden would like to compete now, but he also just wants his financial security. You never know when a player can get injured. If you're a player in James Harden's shoes, you want to get paid. When you're at this stage of your career, you want a little bit of a guarantee. So this was going to happen eventually. It was just a matter of when, and it's happened now. And it's just so abrupt because James, it's been 2.5 years, and the guy has been just an absolute rock for the Clippers. He just has been. And one thing I will respect about what Harden said, according to Ramona, is he said that he didn't want to feel like he was holding the Clippers up in their future. Quote, I wanted them to actually have a chance to rebuild and get some draft capital. In Cleveland, I see an opportunity to win in the East. They got a very good team, coaching staff, all the above. So as much as I wanted to stay in LA and give it a go, I've never won one before. As a basketball mind, I think we have a bit better chance. So just to talk about that, that's very nice for us to hear, because like it's very reminiscent to Chris Paul, where CP3 wanted a change. Although James Harden didn't necessarily want to change, but they made sure that we left with something. They didn't just walk away, and partially because they were guaranteed more money this way. But still, you know, I'm okay with them looking out for themselves. If it means that they still are doing something nice for the Clippers, I am appreciative of that. And James Harden is not taking any shot at the Clippers by saying that. He's absolutely right. The Cavaliers in the wide open Eastern Conference with Donovan Mitchell in his prime and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, they have a better chance of winning a championship than the Clippers do. Now, do I think the Cavs are going to win the championship with James Harden? Hell no. But I'm going to just say this. I'm appreciative of that statement. And then on his time in LA, James said we had a hell of a 2.5 years. We didn't reach the goals that we all wanted to reach, but I think we built some great memories, had some great wins and fun moments for all of us. At the end of the day, it's a business, and I think both sides got what they wanted, are in a great place, and are very happy. I'm excited about Cleveland. I'm still trying to chase my first championship and do whatever it takes to win. So, I think James is very reflective and positive about his tenure with the Clippers, but before we keep talking about James Harden, let's talk about Darius Garland. So the Clippers are getting Darius Garland and a second-round pick. For me, when we talked about a couple weeks ago, or even like about a month or so ago, and we were saying, damn, we got to blow it up. We're 6-21, get whatever you can because Harden's playing so well right now, because Kawhi is playing so well right now, and Zubac is playing so well right now. Let's get what we can. But everybody was like, what are you going to get? Like, who wants Harden? What are you going to get for James at 36? What are you going to get for Kawhi with the aspiration scandal? To come out with Darius Garland, and yeah, we got a second-round pick added to that too, which is great, but we got Darius Garland, who's already been a two-time All-Star, who was an All-Star last year, who's 26 years old. Now, am I saying Darius Garland is a franchise centerpiece? Absolutely not. But he's a younger star entering his prime. When we talked about, we're going to go for some players in 2027, I think Darius Garland is a great start to that new era. He's a very talented player, amazing handle, can pull up from anywhere. He is a very good pick and roll player. He's a great finisher on the basket, and he's a good passer. But the biggest issue with Darius Garland for me is his injury history, and that's exactly why the Cavs got rid of him. Because James Harden, what he's going to be is available for a prime Donovan Mitchell. And that's going to make the Cavs a lot more stable right now. So who do I think wins in the short term? I think the Cavs. But I think Darius Garland, like considering what we were talking about getting if we did sell on any of our big threes, Zubac, Kawhi, or Harden, to get Darius Garland to kickstart that next era. I mean, yeah, he's going to play with Kawhi, and I still think we can be really solid if he's healthy. He hasn't played since January 14th, and it's been a down year for Darius because he's been out for half the year. But the last 3 games he played, he scored 20-plus points, and in 4 out of the last 5, he scored 20-plus points. So he still has, he's been dealing with a toe injury, and I think it's been like multiple toes. But DG is a very talented player, and I think his best years are to come. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. What made last year so great for him is because he played 75 games. The season before that, he missed 25 games, and the Cavs were still good without him, but he missed 25 games. And then the previous year, 13, and the year before that, 14. So that's the biggest thing is, as Clipper fans, we continue to go for injury-prone players, but I think this is the best you're going to get. You get a younger point guard who's 10 years younger than James and might have his best years ahead of him, and we got him. It's just a matter of, can he stay healthy? But I'm excited about Darius Garland. I'm really hoping to welcome him with open arms. I'm super excited to have a younger, star caliber guy with us. We saw what he could do last year, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for DG, man. I'm ready to go. But coming up, going to talk about what this does for us short term. And I know there's an elephant in the room. Come on, Dime, tell us how you really feel. Harden got traded. We'll get into that later. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday coming up this Sunday. One last kickoff. The final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. You got Seahawks, you got Pats. Who's your Super Bowl MVP? This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. This is where players make their legacies. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. The NBA trade deadline is basically here, and we want to give you a free month of our new Everydayer Club to help you get ready. If you need a group chat to keep up with the chaos, join ours. The Everydayer Club gets you access to a group chat on Discord just for Clipper fans, plus national chats where you can hang out with fans from across the league. And I'll be in there as well. I'm in the Discord. I'm just waiting for people to sign up. And you also get ad-free versions of this show. And if you sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th, you can use code DEADLINE to get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more. Wow, Clipper Nation. What a crazy last 48 hours to have James Harden, who's been our most available and probably best Clipper since 2023-24. If we want to talk about consistency, gone. Just like that. He's traded for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Now, I'm going to be honest, short term, I don't think this makes us better. James Harden's better than Garland right now, even at his age. He's just more reliable, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And even when they're both healthy, you could still argue James Harden is better than him. So the Cavs, I think they actually made their team better for this season. Now, do they have flaws? Yes, of course. You have two guys in the backcourt you still can pick on, in James and Donovan. With the Clippers, we're getting worse right now. There's no doubt about it, because Darius Garland has been injured damn near the whole season, on and off. And we are trying to get back in the play-in race. But this is a step towards the next direction. But I also think if Darius is healthy, we get a solid replacement for James. Whether it's a little bit of a downgrade, sure. But we still should be able to accomplish our goal of being competitive and sealing a play-in spot, and then hopefully, sealing a playoff spot and then hopefully making it to the playoffs. But the one thing I am a little bit afraid of is if Kawhi does get hurt, can Garland carry games the way James could? I don't know if that's the case. James just has that way about dictating the flow of games that even Darius Garland at his best has not equaled. So at the end of the day, the Cavs are going to win this trade short term, but for what the Clippers are trying to do long term while still competing in the now, I think that we did a good job. If you told me that, when James Harden gets traded, we're going to get Darius Garland for him, as opposed to him leaving for nothing, I think that's a big win. And I'm also I wouldn't say I'm the highest on Darius Garland, but I'm not low on him at all. I think he's really good. I just think he's injury prone. He has his flaws. He's a small guard. Team's going to pick on him a little bit. But here's what I have to say about that. Now that Clipper Nation and we are going to get to watch DG on a nightly basis, we will see if he's a better or worse defender than Harden. I think when teams try to play target ball, Harden is better because he actually takes things personal when teams try to target him and pick and roll, and he's stronger and he has good hands. So he can sometimes find a way to pickpocket guys that are like elite players offensively. Darius Garland, what I just want to see from him is he going to try harder than James Harden on a consistent basis defensively? Is he going to work harder in transition? Is he going to talk more? Is he going to bend his knees more? Just the bare minimum. If we can get that, then I think it could be an upgrade defensively. But it's not, Darius Garland is still going to be a weak link defensively. That's just the facts. But that's all I have to say. The short term, the Cavs are going to win this. But I'm not going to get into the James Harden thing yet. The whole personal thing with me and James Harden and the years of me hosting this show and having to take all this shit in the comment section from all the Harden fanboys and death threats and all the stuff that has come with being the host of a team that covers James Harden and having the opinion that I had of him or have of him. But the reality is, and I want to just say this too, James Harden was a great Clipper. In his 2.5 years, He was always available. He instantly helped propel us to the best stretch in franchise history, 26-5 in 2023-24, and the number one seed for like a day. He could have been better against Dallas, but he was severely let down by the injuries to Kawhi Leonard and then Paul George just laying an egg. And then the following year, last season, I think is the season that James Harden will be most fondly remembered for, obviously, as a Clipper. And when we think about Clipper history and we think about the 2025 season, the first season at Intuit Dome, it wasn't just any season, it was the first ever season at Intuit Dome. And James Harden was the catalyst for us completely overachieving. You know, the preseason predictions had us on average like 11th or 12th in the West, and we ended up finishing 5th. Now, we did get Kawhi Leonard back for the second half of the season, but everybody was wondering what are the Clippers going to do without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for so much of the season. Paul George being obviously off the team, and then Kawhi for so much of the season. Enter James Harden, putting the team on his back and leading the team to a playoff spot outright. You know, and had some good games against Denver, of course. You know, he had some not so good games as well. And then this season, continuing to do special things, tying the franchise record in points in a single game with 55 against Charlotte, and then still averaging 25 points a game at this stage of his career. And more than anything, James did a really good job about interacting with the fans. You know, he would comment on people that I know personally's Twitter posts about him and like say nice things or like talk. I think one of the people that I know commented about like tagged his wine, and then he commented underneath with like a wine emoji. So, and also I just heard that like he would always take pictures. He was signing things for people. He was nice at these little meet and greet events. So I think James did a good job representing the Clippers and being a guy that went out there and performed. And there was some really crazy moments. Like we legitimately saw James Harden become the second all-time leader in threes made as a Clipper. We saw him enter the top 10 scoring list all time as a Clipper. And that's significant. And overall, James Harden just being a Clipper is a big step for the franchise because it's one of the greatest players of all time and one of the best of his generation. And he put on a Clipper jersey and said, I want to go to the Clippers. Like, I want to get traded to the Clippers. And he never wanted to really leave. He wanted to stay, just we didn't want to keep him for more than the years that we'd already given him. So, James Harden, I think he's a top 10 Clipper of all time. I'm not going to go any further than that, but I'm going to say this. Would I take James Harden as a Clipper over the likes of Jamal Crawford and Lou Williams? I would. Do I like him more? No. But do I think he's a better Clipper than them? Yes. Do I think he's a better Clipper than Elton Brand? No. Do I think he's a better Clipper than Sam Cassell and Corey Maggette? Honestly, yes. Even though Corey Maggette has tenure, James just was better. Simple as that. DeAndre Jordan, I think Harden's a lot better than him, but his longevity. I think, is Harden a better Clipper than Zoo? Probably just because of how good he is. Is he a better Clipper than Paul George? Now that's a debate. I want you to answer all these in the comments, by the way. Paul George, the only thing I give him is that 2021 run is more special than any run Harden had with us. Like, Harden never won a series for us. And that's not totally his fault, but he could have been better against Denver. And I think even if he had been better against Dallas, we still would have lost. But I'm going to just say this. Not a better Clipper than Kawhi or, of course, Chris and Blake, but he's in the top 10 for me. And you could argue top 5, but I don't know. I think 2.5 years is a little too short to be in the top 5. But anyway, thank you, James Harden, for what you did for the Clippers. I am appreciative. But coming up, going to talk about how I really feel about this move and what it does for us long term. I got to tell you a little something about Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number so nothing gets missed. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That's QUO.com/lockedonnba. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. On the Game Time app, I was able to get some big tickets last year for the playoffs in baseball and in the NBA. And part of what made it easy was seeing the all-in price up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Because a lot of times they'll add these fees to your total if you don't press includes fees when you search, and you get charged like an extra $30. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. All right. So James Harden gets traded from the Clippers for Darius Garland and a second-round pick after 2.5 years. Guys, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't over the moon. James Harden, while he is a great player, I am adamant and I'm unwavering in my stance that he will not win a championship. The way that he plays puts too much pressure on your team to live and die by him because he has the ball in his hands so much. He does not move without the ball, so you're automatically going to have a more stagnant offense. You have to surround him with shooters and defenders, so you probably don't have that many ball handlers, so then you rely on him even more to handle the ball. And those shooters need to knock down shots after just standing still for a lot of the shot clock a lot of times. It puts a lot of pressure on the shooter. Not to mention he doesn't play defense, and more than anything, he doesn't maximize his own abilities post-Houston. So the post-Houston version of him in the playoffs has gone out sorry. So there's no way I would believe he's going to win a title. And I said this for years, and I'm going to be honest with everyone. I was nice to James Harden. I could have been so much worse because of what I actually think. Even the games that he cooks, the process isn't good. He just dribbles and gets some ridiculous calls half the time. But here's the thing. He is a one-man engine. I just think that at high levels, that will get exposed. It's not even just I think. He has not won. And all his fans want to make excuses that it's everyone else's fault. See, what I'm saying is it's not solely his fault, but he has some part of the blame. And a lot of people can see that except for these delusional stands that are going to leave this comment section, and poor Danny Cunningham of Locked On Cavs has to endure these fools. But my wish has come true. James Harden and his stands are gone. And I'm telling you this right now, Clipper fans, don't be so sad because long term, it's going to be better for the team. We're one step closer to moving to a different direction. And if you're pro Kawhi and still want to go all out in this year, well, we weren't going to win a championship this year anyway. If you thought that we could somehow come from 6-21 and win the title, you are, in my opinion, delusional. But I get it. As Clipper fans, we just have a delusional sense of optimism, and we think that we can do anything, and that's what makes our fan base awesome. But I just can't do that. I just can't I'm too I just see how basketball plays out, and I know that a team that's 6-21 to start the season is not going to win the title. But beyond that, the James Harden thing, I'm pretty unwavering in that. And I'm starting to think Luka Doncic belongs in a similar category with the way that he plays and forces his team to play. And I also just, beyond the scope of the NBA and the Clippers, I think that the way James Harden plays basketball is not a good example for how teams that want to win should play. But and then the laziness to me, it's not even that he's a bad defender, more so than he's a lazy defender. He shows that he doesn't care about it. That to me is not serious when you want to win a title. So, like, as good as James Harden is, and how he did get close in 2018 and 2021, I'm not going to lie. But he's not a guy that I want to put my faith in to win a title. If it's to win regular season games, oh, he's one of the best to put your faith in. But what are we here for? What do we get him for? It's like everybody lost sight of what we got him for. We got him to help Paul George and Kawhi win a title. And now it's like, oh, James Harden's the savior because Kawhi always gets hurt and Paul George is gone. So, I think as James Harden's tenure was positive, but man, I did not enjoy a game. I'm not going to lie. Like, this felt like a job more than a passion because I could not stand watching James play. And think of the position. And I get it. A lot of people say you should quit your job because James Harden, you don't like watching him play. If you don't like watching him play and you're so negative, you should just quit your job and stop talking about the team. Well, guess what? And this was my response. And this is why I won. He's temporary and I'm permanent. And one day, and that day has come today, you will get a host that genuinely likes the players on his team and the way that they play. And first of all, I don't dislike Harden personally. But I just couldn't stand. I just don't like watching him play. I can't stand it. I'm so thankful I don't have to watch it anymore, no matter how good you think he is. I acknowledge he's great, but he's not championship great, and I don't mess with watching him. Point blank. And no apologists in the comments or fans saying, Dime, please be nicer. Like, you guys would be more appreciative of Harden. I'm appreciative of what he did for the Clippers. Doesn't mean I have to like his game or enjoy watching it. So I'm going to enjoy watching the Clippers so much more. My enthusiasm about the team has revived. Now we won't have any dispute whose team it is. It's Kawhi's team, and it's going to force him to be even more aggressive. And it will also probably be a more aesthetically pleasing watch without the ball pounder. Now, Darius Garland does pound the ball a little bit, but not nearly to the extent of Harden. So I've said this a lot, and I know that people are going to say I'm psychotic, I'm crazy, I'm unappreciative. I really don't care what you say. I literally appreciated it and did a whole segment on James Harden and how much he helped the Clippers. But this is about basketball for me. Like, I am the host of Locked On Clippers. I'm known as a big Clipper fan, but I'm a basketball person. I live and breathe this sport. The sport of basketball means so much more to me than the Clippers. So this is about basketball. This is about the way that James Harden plays and the heliocentric formula of play that's not exclusive to James Harden that I think is bad for the game. And it's a bad example for kids because all these heliocentric fools don't move without the ball, and that makes you play through them, and that's inherently selfish, and people don't understand that. It's inherently selfish to make everybody play that way because, yeah, you're such a great on-ball decision maker. What if you're playing with other good on-ball decision makers and all you want to do is stand at the three-point line and space half the time? And then in James Harden's case, he sits at half court a lot of the times, which doesn't even space the floor like that. It makes you go 4-on-4 at best, and then he's hesitant to catch and shoot threes. So that's not a real spacer to me. But I want to say this. I'm very appreciative for James Harden. And the reason why I say that is this. This period that I've had to cover, like at the majority of my tenure as Locked On host, we've had James Harden. Several years of Dime Dropper, we've had James Harden. But when we got James Harden, I was so negative about it and I was so down bad that I really thought like I have to make changes to my life. Like I have to find a way to do things in life that make me not care about the Clippers so much. But I just want to say this. If people wanted to say I was negative and this and that, like I apologize, Clipper Nation, for being somewhat negative about a player on our team that was so good, right? But I'm not going to just, and trust me when I say I did sugarcoat things. Like I could have been so much more brutal and so much more honest, but I'm trying to appease people at the same time, but I also don't try to appease people as much as others. And that offends people. But now I don't have to worry about not offending people as much. I don't have to worry about appeasing Harden stands and that contingent of fans. They're going to they're going to be gone. They're going to get on their U-Haul trucks and go to another team's fans bases to harass, which just shows how shameless they are. And the Clipper fans are still going to be here listening to this show. And I just want to say I'm sorry to the Clipper fans that did get annoyed with my quote-unquote anti-Harden spiel or Harden skepticism. But I'm going to just tell you this right now. Do you know what that means? You can call me Mr. Positive now. I am Mr. Positive. The dark cloud has been removed from my analysis, but I'm just thankful that I made it through that period and I didn't quit. I was so close at times to like being like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore, but I knew it was going to be temporary. I can't believe I don't have to like sugarcoat this stuff anymore. Like it's so nice. Guys, I'm Mr. Positive now. I'm Darian Positive Vaziri. Dime Positive Dropper. That's what you can call me. You can call me Mr. Positive. And I did say, I still stand by my statement. If I see you at Intuit and you mention that you watched this episode, I'm going to get you a drink. I'm going to get you a drink. I'm going to stay true to my word. And I know a lot of people are going to be disgusted at how happy I am that a franchise legend is gone. Cry about it. I'm positive. You want to be positive? I'm positive. DG, baby. DG. Darius Garland. Let's go, DG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where I went live to talk about the Harden trade news directly after it broke. And of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell to get us up to 9,000 subscribers before the end of the season. And of course, you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues. Go. Oh, and last thing, don't want to forget the Everydayer Club. Thanks for tuning in to today's Locked On Clippers. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Clippers so you get all the latest episodes. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard's initial All-Star snub, and then he gets put on the team. And if you're wondering, am I going to do an episode on the Philadelphia game? I am not. I'm actually not going to cover it. I didn't even get to watch it yet. I probably still will watch it, but it's old news now, so it's going to be the one game this season that we do not cover. So we'll cover 81 games, unfortunately. I know I hold myself to a standard of covering all 82, but it is what it is. LockedOnClippers.supercast.com for the Everydayer Club. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Clippers ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to LockedOnClippers.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on audio, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA. The age-old proverb continues. The Harden era is over. Go Clippers.